Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Markus and today I'm going to talk about my work in progress, the book I am writing right now. Not at this particular moment, but generally right now I'm working on it. Never mind. The name I'm using for this project right now is ARC and you'll understand why. So about 2 years ago, in the summer of 2016, I had a horrible nightmare. There were monsters who looked a little bit like the Inferi in Harry Potter, and they were chasing me and I was climbing a cliff that I knew was the remnants of a large ship. And as I was climbing that, one of the monsters caught up to me and grabbed my ankle, and I woke up screaming, still able to, feel skeletal fingers around my ankle. It was one of the most vivid nightmares I have ever had in my life. In the dream, and as I woke up from the dream, I had a lot of knowledge about that world that the dream took place in, and so the very next morning I started writing. So this story takes place a few hundred years before my dream took place, and I use a lot of the backstory that I had in that dream. So the story takes place in our world quite a few years into the future, and there's been a big war, and some country decided to use a bioweapon on another country. Doesn't matter who or why or anything like that, but what happened is that the bioweapon poisoned the earth. Of course. So these poisons started spreading, and what they did was that they made food inedible, basically. You can't eat any plants or anything that has grown in this contaminated soil. So of course a lot of different groups and organizations and governments and whatnot tried to come up with solutions to this, and they tried to remove the poisons, and that didn't work, and some groups decided that we're going to try to genetically engineer a human that can digest these poisons so that we can still eat the things that grows in this soil. And one group decided that no, we're going to take all the uncontaminated soil in the world and we're going to gather it on large artificial islands, and then humans can live on these islands and grow crops on these islands, and it's all going to be good. And that plan worked. They started building these islands, which they called arcs, of course. And these arcs are going well. They're being built outside of Ireland, and most of humanity have gone to live in a city that they call Haven, and they are hoping to move on to these arcs when they're finished. However, remember that group that I talked about that decided that they were going to try to change the human genome so that we could digest the poisons? You know that those things rarely end well, and it didn't here either. So what they managed to do was create a virus, and starts well there, and this virus was supposed to let people digest the poisons, and it does, but of course it also turns people into monsters, so marginally successful. So this story follows one character in Haven, which is in Ireland where they're building the arcs, and how their society is handling moving on to the arcs, and of course not everyone will fit. And we're also following a group of friends who are trying to get from Sweden to Ireland, and of course they're being chased by monsters and they don't have a lot of time and all of that stuff. I am great at describing plots and stuff. Anyway, I absolutely love this story, and I love the setting and I love the characters, and it's been a long time since I was this excited for this long about a story that I've been writing. Currently this story is a little over 100,000 words long. I am more or less finished with the first half of it, and the second half needs work. I always find it harder to write the second half of a book and try to tie up all the loose ends and stuff like that. Because I know what's going to happen, I know how the whole thing is going to end, and I know how they're going to get there, but getting that down on the page is difficult. And this is my first serious attempt at a post-apocalyptic story. I've had a few ideas for post-apocalyptic stuff before now, and I've started a few stories, but as with everything, I am better at starting stories than I am at finishing them. But this one I actually think I am going to finish, which is a great feeling. I love this feeling. I don't have it nearly enough. My plan for this story is that I am going to finish it enough to at least send it out to beta readers before the end of this year. Hopefully I'm going to be able to send it out a few months before the end of the year so that I can give my beta readers a deadline so that I can have it back at the end of 2018. And then my plan is to make a final draft and start sending it out to publishers during 2019. So that is very exciting, and it's very scary, and I can't wait. So now you know what I'm working on. My question for you is, what are you working on? Are you spending all of your energy towards one project, or are you working on a few different ones at the same time? Do you have lots of ideas and you're trying to choose between them, or are you having a hard time even coming up with ideas? Both situations are frustrating in their own way. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know if you have any tips for how to choose what to work on, what to turn into a work in progress, because I'm curious on how other people do that. And of course subscribe if you're at all curious about what I'm doing, because I will keep giving you updates on how I'm doing and tips and tricks that I find useful as I'm working on this. Until then, keep writing, and I will see you next week. Bye!